In this video, let's take a look at the complete story of Puss throughout the Shrek universe so far, leading all the way up to the moment we see him sailing back to far, far away at the end of The Last Wish. Puss had a difficult start in life. He was abandoned as a kitten and never knew his parents, spending his childhood in an orphanage. Despite that, he managed to find a true friend in Humpty Dumpty. The two became inseparable and spent years dreaming about bigger things together. Puss was also raised by his adoptive mother, someone he loved deeply and who gave him the support he never had growing up. As he got older, Puss became the hero of his town, earning the admiration of everyone around him. However, Humpty was heading down a much darker path and constantly tried to pull Puss along with him. Because of Humpty's actions, Puss ended up becoming a wanted fugitive and was forced to leave behind the life he had built. He spent years on the run before eventually crossing paths with Humpty again. Later, Puss met Kitty Softpaws and quickly fell in love with her. Together, they joined Humpty on a new adventure, but things once again fell apart when Humpty betrayed him. Deep down, Humpty was still hurt by everything that had happened between them years ago and wanted revenge. In the end though, Humpty realized his mistakes and sacrificed himself to save others, finally redeeming himself. Puss' honor was restored, and he was once again seen as a hero, even if his reputation wasn't completely repaired everywhere. After these events, Puss became a bounty hunter, which leads directly into the events of Shrek 2. He was hired by King Harold to assassinate Shrek, but that plan obviously didn't work out. Instead, Puss became one of Shrek's closest friends. Over time, he became a loyal ally who repeatedly helped Shrek and his family whenever they needed him. For someone who spent much of his life alone, this was important because he finally started building a larger family of people who genuinely cared about him. Throughout the rest of the Shrek franchise, Puss continued to play an important role. In Shrek the Third, he remained one of Shrek's most supportive friends and even ended up accidentally switching bodies with Donkey, leading to some hilarious situations before everything was eventually fixed. Then in Shrek Forever After, we got to see an alternate reality where Puss' life turned out very differently. Instead of being the legendary hero everyone knew, he became an overweight and spoiled house cat who belonged to Fiona. After all of those adventures comes The Last Wish. The film explores his relationship with Kitty, his enormous pride, and the way he had spent most of his life chasing fame and admiration. Puss loved being the hero, loved being celebrated, and loved being the one who always saved the day. Because of that, he rarely stopped to think about the people who truly cared about him or even about his own mortality.
You died. Doctor, please.
Relax! I am Puss in Boots! I laugh at death!
Everything changes when he discovers that he has wasted 8 of his 9 lives and is now on his last one. Being hunted by death forces him to confront fears he had ignored for years. For the first time, Puss has to face the reality that his life is not endless and that being a legend isn't the most important thing in the world. Through this journey, he learns to appreciate the people who love him, especially Kitty, and begins valuing those relationships more than the fame and glory he spent so long chasing. By the end of the film, Puss has grown into a much wiser and more complete person. Instead of living only for himself and his reputation, he chooses the people who matter most to him. The movie ends with Puss, Kitty, and Perito sailing back to far, far away, setting up the next chapter of his story. Puss will return and reunite with Shrek and the rest of the gang, continuing the journey that started years ago.